Wow. Just wow.
So with his food round his beak.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. Oh. Good morning and welcome back to the channel on another photographic adventure with the one and only Pops.
Good morning.
So I feel like in every video I say we're going to do something different, and today is a little bit different. Rather than the usual going off to a nature park and looking for wildlife, we've actually come to a photography workshop where we're going to be photographing birds of prey. It's a little bit different, it's a little bit staged and perhaps not something that we would normally do, but I'm hoping it gives us the opportunity to get some photographs of some truly remarkable birds, and it definitely gives us some practice because we're off up to the Isle of Mull in 2 weeks time, and we're booked onto Mull charters, so we're going to be photographing the sea eagles coming in. So it gives us a chance to get used to the focusing of the Z9, the 3D tracking and a bit of practice. So that's what we're using this day as, but I thought, what better opportunity than to bring you along for the journey and see what we can see. So today, I believe we're going to be photographing a pair of barn owls, a goshawk. I've never seen a goshawk, so that's going to be incredible just on its own. An eagle owl, a European eagle owl, and a great grey owl. So plenty of opportunities there. Definitely should get some shots of birds in flight and some stage shots with them on posts and things like that. So looking forward to the adventure. What do you think, Pops?
Oh, I can't wait. It's the goshawk that's really attracting me. Fabulous bird, never seen one. I'm absolutely really excited to see one of them.
So we're just setting up all the equipment, and we've had a bit of a chat with him about whether we'd be better off using 70-200 lens or the 500mm prime. And we're still not really quite sure which ones to use, so I'm setting up for my 500 and I'm going to take my 70-200 with me, and then I can change it over if we need to, and I think that's probably going to be the best opportunity. So just to kind of talk you through it and see, I've got my 500mm prime on the tripod with the Z9 body on, and Pops is on the 500 PF with the Z9 on his tripod. So we're all set up. We're just waiting for them to set everything up down at the barn where we start off, and I think they put some barn owls on a window frame that I can see, and then they'll take us off into the field to do some shots in the field. Bit of an unknown really, so I'm excited. It's a little bit different, something different than what we would normally do, and fingers crossed we'll come away with some good shots. So we're just having a bit of a discussion about settings. What are you thinking there, Pops?
Well, obviously it's going to be on manual, so that I can control the speed and the aperture with ISO and automatic. But I'm thinking of using an aperture of f7.1 and a speed of 1250, maybe pushing that up even further if we're doing any birds in flight. If it's static, I might drop it a little bit. Well, that's my thoughts.
Yeah. So I think when we've got the birds on a post, or on something static, I think I'm going to be, depending on what's behind them, going with quite a shallow depth of field. So maybe even down to f4, but 5.6, something like that. And then I've got my ISO set on auto, so then I'll adjust the shutter speed based on the light to keep the ISO as low as possible. And just be conscious of not letting it drop too much, so I don't get any movement in the bird at all, particularly if it is moving around on the post.
Yeah.
And then for the birds in flight, I will probably there go to perhaps f8 even, depending on what's around. And then the fastest shutter speed I can get away with without pushing my ISO too high, so that I get lovely frozen wingtips. I don't want any blur in the wingtips, but hopefully the whole bird in focus. So that's kind of where I'm going with it.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get a few opportunities and have a look in between those opportunities and see what effect we're getting.
Yeah, definitely.
And whether we need to make any minor adjustments.
Yeah, definitely. So he's just bringing out the first birds, which is going to be some barn owls, which he's going to put on top of a window frame. I'll get some video of it in a minute. So there is the window frame all set up. And they pop the owls in, and they use the ivy to just hide the jesses as best they can. And we did some shots at the start with them with the back to us, and now what you've got is a beautiful shots of them looking out from the window. There we go. So they just adjusted them so that hopefully it hides the jesses, so there's no need to remove those in the edit. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with the 3D tracking. It's picking out the eye of the birds really quite well, which is nice. I've had a couple of little looks at the shots on the back of my camera, because of course one of the big challenges when you're photographing barn owls is the fact that you've got a white bird. You've got a white bird, and then you've got a black background, so it's very easy to clip the highlights of the birds. So I'm underexposing just slightly to compensate for the whites, to make sure that they're not blown. And I think that's working quite well. And they just keep adjusting them, so we're getting some different poses. That's a beautiful pose there, absolutely beautiful. Come on, have a look. Got one facing forward and one facing back, so that you can get the beautiful colours of its back with the really beautiful pure white on the front of the bird, which is nice. Oh, that's beautiful. That's the one there. That's stunning. So we've got here, it's stood on a post. That's it. So we're just moving the bracken that's at the base of the post so that it covers the jesses so you can't see it. I'd say if you want photographs of birds of prey and you want to control everything, every element of it completely, this is the way to do it. There's a part of me though that feels like I'm cheating. I don't know why, but I do feel like I'm cheating. And it certainly doesn't give you the same thrill as when you see them in the wild. But saying that, you're never going to get these opportunities in the wild. So yeah, it's certainly an incredible experience. So we're nearing our end of our time with the barn owls. They're just setting up for some of the other birds of prey now. I've definitely got some fantastic shots. Being able to photograph them from different angles, and I've switched between the 500mm lens and the 70-200. I think I'm most happy with the 500mm lens. The separation that I can give between the subject and its background is fantastic with that lens, so it means that I can really blur out everything that's behind just nicely and get some nice bokeh. So I'm happy with those shots. The barn owls are going away now. I think they've probably had enough, and we're moving on to whatever comes next. Just going to give you a bit of a talk through some of the posts and the setup. So as you can see, what we've got is a number of posts and different perches that they set up for these birds, and then basically what we have then is all us photographers stood in the background taking the pictures. So that's the setup. That's kind of how it works. See what comes out next. So what we've got now is the great grey owl. I will get some shots of it on the perch in a moment. At the moment it's just not, there we go, look at that, turning its head round. Beautiful big yellow eye. Wow, that is stunning, absolutely stunning. I'll get a little bit of video for you as well so you can see, but it is a thing of beauty, that, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Stunning, stunning bird. It's huge as well. I would say it's probably 3 times as big as the barn owl that we just had out. It's absolutely enormous bird. Beautiful big yellow eyes, a huge big dish of a face. Stunning. You can see how big it is next to that rabbit. It is massive. Absolutely massive bird. And the guy was saying that the eagle owl that's coming out next had measured its grip on its foot, and it is more powerful than a Rottweiler's bite. And they grab hold of deer and in their talons and they can crush their skull. So it's fairly instantaneous when they kill a prey. So what we have to remember is that, you know, to see a bird like this, a great grey owl, you would need to travel to America or Canada to see them. They're not native to this country, so I would never be able to get a shot like this unless I spent a lot of money travelling. But actually, it's quite a privilege to be able to photograph something like this. I've said it once or twice already. It is massive. I didn't realise just how big they were. It is absolutely huge. So we finished with the grey owl, and now we're moving on to the eagle owl. And the handler, the falconer, has just said that they're really not the most intelligent of birds, owls, despite what everyone believes, you know, the wise old owl. They're actually really quite unintelligent with regards to the bird of prey. So he's brought out the European eagle owl now, so we'll get some photographs of that. I'll get some video as well so you can see it. This is a very pretty bird. So here we have a goshawk, female goshawk. What an absolutely beautiful, beautiful bird. Her eyes are absolutely stunning. She is stunning. She's quite vocal, isn't she?
she's in breeding mode now.
Right, is she?
Yeah.
And will you breed off her?
No, I'm not breeding no more.
Right.
What we're going to do is put her on there so she fills up, and then we can put the male and her together then.
Right, okay.
But
But she's got to have a good feed first.
Yeah.
So currently filming the goshawk on the pheasant, and it has literally ripped it open in seconds. The power on it is just phenomenal. And then once it's got inside, it's pulling off huge chunks of meat and eating those quite quickly. It's quite a spectacle to see, and to think that these birds of prey are native to this country and do, fly around this country is quite amazing, to say the least. What a spectacle. So he was just explaining that the goshawk has got a bell on its tail, and that bell is there to keep its tail feathers safe, because their tail feathers are so brittle, they very easily damage them. So by putting the bell on, it allows him to put a sheath on the tail feathers, otherwise it'd just smash its tail feathers to bits. So obviously in an ideal world you'd have that tail bell off, but the welfare of the animal is absolutely paramount, isn't it? And I can clone that out fairly easily in Photoshop, that's not a problem, and I'd rather that than the bird be at any form of risk, so we'll keep the bell on. I genuinely think I could watch this sky feeding all day long. What a magnificent bird. So here we have an American kestrel that has been crossbred with a peregrine falcon. And what an absolute stunner it is. Beautiful bird. Wow, what a spectacular experience that was. We've seen all manner of birds. We've seen barn owls, we've seen great grey owl, long-eared owl, no, not a long-eared owl, a European eagle owl, goshawks, which were by far my favourite. Oh my god, they are an incredible bird of prey. And then we got a little bonus right at the end, which was a crossbreed between an American kestrel and a peregrine falcon, and it had got a jay that it had actually caught earlier in the week, and he'd taken it off it. Obviously he said it's a pure hunter. He said the minute he takes it out, it just wants to kill. So it's spectacular to get that close to birds of prey. What are your thoughts, Pops?
I agree with you 100%. It was absolutely awesome to get that close to him, but as we were saying before, nothing beats the thrill of actually discovering them out in the wild. But that was, yeah.
Please drive to highlighted route.
Sorry about that.
So as you can hear, we'll be setting off shortly. And I agree with my dad. I think it's a different experience. It's a bit like going to a model shoot. You know, there are lots of elements that are being controlled for you, where the birds are, how the birds behave, and you're able to get much closer than you ever would in the wild, which means you get photographs that you would never normally get. But it's a different experience than being out in the wild and tracking and finding these animals in their natural habitat, completely wild. So I personally, I don't think you get the same thrill from it, but what you get is an amazing opportunity to get so close to these wonderful animals. And I think that compensates probably for the fact that you've not got the thrill of the chase, have you?
Yeah, no, I quite agree. I mean, they are such beautiful animals. To get up close to them and see their actual beauty, you can't beat it. But the thrill of catching them in the wild is just something else. I mean, last year when I found that breeding pair of sparrowhawks, and then camped out in my pop-up hide, and watching them make a kill and bringing it and tearing it apart in front of me, that will live with me forever, without a doubt. But that wasn't staged, it was all wild, and it was pure chance that I discovered them. Yep.
So yeah,
but loved it.
Yeah, fantastic experience. So it's Northwest Photography Workshops, I think it is, or Northwest Wildlife Hides or something like that. I'll put a link in the video. They have a Facebook page, and they announce their different workshops via the Facebook page. So if you haven't already followed them, please give them a follow. It's definitely worthwhile. They're really helpful guys. Spend a lot of time with you, making sure you get the photographs that you want. So if you've enjoyed this video, as always, please click like. Please, if you haven't done so already, consider subscribing. It does help the channel, and if you don't mind giving it a share too, that would be wonderful. Until next time, ta-ra!
Ta-ra now!